New details emerge in the case of 8-year-old Sandra Cantu, who police believe was murdered by Sunday school teacher Melissa Huckabee.
There is a prior case of a child under the age of 10 that was drugged, and there is an implication that Melissa Huckabee was involved. Police do confirm that there is an open case, and that has now been blended in with this investigation.
Is Melissa Huckabee tied to another child abduction? The Tracy Press is reporting that Huckabee is tied to a report from January where a 7-year-old girl was allegedly abducted and returned to the family hours later high on muscle relaxants. The incident was allegedly reported by a family that lived in the same mobile home park that both Sandra Cantu and Melissa Huckabee lived. According to the police log, the woman who took the child drove a purple Kia Sportage. Melissa Huckabee also owns a purple Kia Sportage. Police refused to comment, citing the ongoing investigation. Questions remain about Huckabee's mental stability, as friends have come out claiming Huckabee has been suicidal since the 6th grade. Huckabee remains on suicide watch at the county jail.
This morning we were going through police logs, and we'd heard a rumor that she had, abducted or kidnapped another small child earlier. We found in January that someone took a 7-year-old girl from the trailer park, and the woman who took the girl drove a purple Kia Sportage, which, again, they towed a purple Kia Sportage the day after they found Sandra, which was Huckabee's.
Man, are prosecutors going to have a field day with this at trial? Is this 28-year-old female Sunday school teacher currently charged in the murder and rape with a foreign object of an 8-year-old little girl connected to the disappearance of another 7-year-old little girl in the same neighborhood? To Eric Firpo with the Tracy Press joining us there at the jail in French Camp, California. Eric, what can you tell me?
Well, there was a report in the police blotter from January 17th that a 7-year-old girl was taken from the Orchard Estates mobile home park for several hours. Apparently the girl returned with Melissa Huckabee in Melissa's car. And the family, they thought the girl seemed groggy, so they actually took her to the hospital afterwards. And she was tested and found to have muscle relaxant in her system. And, the mother who took her there had alcohol in her breath, and there might have been some sort of drug violation issue. It's sort of unclear what happened at the hospital, but a friend of the family was told by the FBI not to talk about the case. And it's now been wrapped up into the murder investigation. But a friend of the family told us that the mother was very upset that more wasn't done by the police. But we don't really know what was done by the police because they're not saying.
To Dr. Marty McCary at Johns Hopkins, groggy? I guess so. Why don't you tell us, Dr. McCary, what the little 7-year-old girl had coursing through her bloodstream?
Well, these were clearly benzodiazepines. These are muscle relaxants or light sedatives, which in adults, they can be addictive, but in kids, they can be fatal. A kid can suddenly stop breathing. We use them in the hospital for uncomfortable procedures because it wipes out your memory, and it also makes you kind of loopy when something is done.
I'm sick. I'm sick. Take a listen to what this 28-year-old Sunday school teacher had to say about the disappearance of the 7-year-old girl months ago.
I had taken my daughter and one of her friends to the park, which I had done for the 3rd time that week. The mother was, I guess, at work, and the grandmother had told the little girl that she could go to the park, which she does all the time. And when the mother came home, she didn't know where she was. I'd given the mother my phone number, my cell phone number, in case there's anything to happen. She needed to get a hold of me. She claims to have lost the phone number. Everything was fine. I brought her back. Police were called out at the time, and I was then called by my grandparents to her home because her mother did not know that she was missing. That she was with me.
That is Melissa Huckabee, the suspect before her arrest for murder of an 8-year-old girl and the rape of an 8-year-old girl with a foreign object. She was talking to KPIX about the disappearance of another little girl. You know, Sebastian Kuntz with KNEW Radio, maybe I'm the crazy one, but why wasn't she booked for the first kidnapping?
It's not clear, Nancy. I don't think you're the crazy one, though. A lot of people are asking that question, and more importantly, it's important to point out that the police are not saying anything now because this is part of this very active FBI and police investigation into the Sandra Cantu murder. But obviously, again, a lot of people want to know the answer to that question.
To Sergeant Tony Shinneman, the PIO with the Tracy Police Department. He's standing by there at French Camp, California as well. Sergeant Shinneman, when you began investigating the disappearance of Sandra Cantu, did you immediately realize another little girl, 7 years old, had been taken from the same neighborhood?
Nancy, we were aware that a missing persons report was almost filed. No report was taken at that time, and that's been confirmed in the police logs. We're concerned about two things in this case. One is obviously the integrity of our investigation, but we're also concerned about Ms. Huckabee's opportunity to receive a fair trial, and that's another reason why we're not commenting on this, and speculative journalism could damage her opportunity to have that.
Sergeant Shinneman, the first little girl, whose name obviously we're not revealing, was she checked to determine whether there had been a sex assault?
I can't comment as to what the exam was.
To Eric Firpo, was the first little girl checked to see if there was a sex assault?
We don't know that. There was no, you know, the friend of the family who has been talking to us didn't mention anything about a sex assault, and the person knew quite a few details about the case, so, you know, that doesn't mean that they didn't check.
Tell me one more
We
time.
just don't know.
Tell me one more time, Sebastian Kuntz, in a nutshell, why they didn't bring the charge. What was it they didn't like about the first victim's mother?
Well, they did say that she had alcohol on her breath, and there may have been...
That would knock out about 50% of the country who hadn't had a drink. Let's see, it's 8:50. Half the country's already had a drink. So you don't charge when the child's been taken? Mark Glass, it's getting worse and worse.
Well, I'm just chilled to the bone here. I think they're just starting to peel back the onion that is Melissa Huckabee. You don't wake up one morning and decide that today is the day that I'm going to kidnap and murder.
I'll save you some time about the onion, peeling the onion freak. That's what you're going to find at the core of the onion. Now we hear about false rape allegations that she made. Have you heard about that, Mark Class?
No, I haven't heard about that. Well, yes, I have heard about that. And quite frankly, she seems to be a very practiced liar. I think that just as Casey Anthony, this woman has basically stripped away any credibility she might have had.
You guys are more interested in chocolate chips than microchips. Which